Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Tom sent me a note about a story, and I actually knew about this situation. And it has to do with the price of gas at a gas station near an airport. And I'm going to tip you off, if you rent a car from Detroit Metro Airport and you go to return it, there's a chance, 50-50, that you will drive by this gas station as the last gas station before you drop off your rental car. So what do you need to do when you drop off your rental car? Fill it up. What happens when you glance at the price and the price is outrageous, but you're in a hurry? You might pay it. So the owner says that the gas station near Detroit Metro Airport was unfairly targeted for price gouging. You see, the Michigan Attorney General has stepped in and said, you can't do that. There's actually laws on pricing of goods and services in the state of Michigan. So Scott Wolchek and Noah Rahel wrote this for Fox 2 Detroit. And the story's out of Romulus, which is where Detroit Metro Airport's located, just west of Detroit. After being issued a cease and desist order from Michigan's AG for jacking up gasoline prices, the owner of the station says the costs are justified. He said, "We take great pride in our quality and customer service at a self-serve gas station. Our store has been serving the community for years at that same rate. Gas has always been a little above average due to the real estate." The AG announced on Friday that her office received complaints about price gouging at the gas station on Middle Belt Road near Romulus, in Romulus. The business was reportedly charging $1.50 or more per gallon compared to nearby gas stations. So they were $1.50 or more above the price of nearby gas stations. When Fox 2 visited the gas station Friday afternoon, the price for regular unleaded was around $4.09 if you used a credit card. If it's $4.09 in credit, then that means the regular cash price would be $3.99. Is that above average? Absolutely, by not much, though, this owner says. If you look around the store, you see that there's public restrooms. The place is clean. It's a safe place. It's a great environment. We always get tremendous customer feedback at that location. He says that he feels targeted by the AG as nearby gas stations are doing the same, if not worse. We paid a premium for the real estate. It's only a couple hundred yards from the airport. Drivers filling up gas at the BP near DTW told Fox 2 the prices were, in fact, very high. $4 just for regular seems a little outrageous, said one man. This is completely different from the closer you get into the city. A special agent from the department visited the area twice this past week to investigate the claims and found the price for regular unleaded at one point was $4.74, which was as much as $2 higher than other nearby gas stations. So it makes you wonder if the price came down after that, but AG said the gas station is violating the Michigan Consumer Protection Act and taking advantage of the location near the airport. She gave the gas station until January 8th to respond to the notice. Possible action includes a civil lawsuit or a formal investigation. Gas gouging, plain and simple, is people are charging a heck of a lot more than the going rate and they think they're justified, says the president and CEO of the BBB. In the long run, they're not. She said, if you suspect price gouging at a business, make sure to get a receipt and report it to the Michigan Department of Attorney General. When asked if they would lower their prices, the owner said, we reached out to the Attorney General's office as soon as we got the notice of that letter. We haven't gotten a phone call back. But of course, when they do reach out to us, we'd like to come to an agreement. So you might be wondering, Steve, is it illegal to charge too much for something? And if so, what would that look like? Well, it comes from the Consumer Protection Act. I've mentioned before, the Consumer Protection Act of Michigan was a law that pretty much got gutted by our Supreme Court. And a portion that they left intact was the portion that allowed the Attorney General to take action against merchants. So the Consumer Protection Act is in the blue books behind me, MCL 445-901 et sec, Latin for and others, or and so on. And 445-903 is the list of prohibited actions. There's a menu at 445-903 of all the things you cannot do if you're a merchant. These things are unlawful. And sub Z, and by the way, it goes into double A, double B, double C. Sub Z is, it is unlawful to charge the customer a price that is grossly in excess of the price at which similar property or services are sold. I will admit I changed a little bit as I read it, only because that's the way my mind works, but verbatim it says, charging the consumer a price that is grossly in excess of the price at which similar property or services are sold. And so what they're basically saying is, look, there can be some variation in price. It says grossly in excess. There can be some variation in price, but you can't charge a price grossly in excess. And you might say, how do you define that? Some states actually have, because many states have got laws similar to this. And quite often they'll say a price that's double or a price that's triple, but it depends. You know, if I got something that's $10,000 but I sell it for 15, that's only 50% more. Is that really grossly in excess? Well, it's $5,000, that might be. But for a gallon of gasoline, instead of being $2, it's $4. That seems like that'd be grossly in excess if those were the numbers we're talking about. Don't know exactly. I'm just giving you hypotheticals here. But I can tell you that one of the rationales, one of the things they look at as to why a law like this exists is quite often being able to charge a price grossly in excess indicates another problem either in the marketplace or in the relationship between the merchant and the buyer. So quite often, for instance, you hear these stories about somebody went into a car dealership and they just got robbed. I'm talking about like they were sold a used car for twice what a brand new car would cost and there's no car shortage. And you find out, oh, but that person actually has mental issues and is incapable of taking care of themselves. That's a problem. And so instead of just saying, gee, it's illegal to take advantage of somebody who can't protect themselves, which, by the way, is another subsection of the Consumer Protection Act, they say that it's also wrongful to charge the consumer a price grossly in excess of the price at which similar property or services are sold. And so you might say, but Steve, what's the imbalance here? What's the problem here? The problem here is quite often these people who are pulling into this gas station, it's their last stop before dropping off a rental car. And I know that because I've done that probably 20 or 30 times at that gas station, at that airport. Now, if you wanted to, you could go, gee, these prices are too high. I'll go look for another gas station. But you got to return a rental car. You got to get on a shuttle. You got to get to the airport. You got to go through TSA. No. And so that's what's going on here, is the fact that many people pulling in this gas station are in a hurry to get themselves to either the rental car place or the airport itself. So I don't know the exact numbers, and that's what I'd be curious about. Because I assure you that when the investigator from the AG went in, they took note of what the prices were at that gas station, what the prices were at all the nearby gas stations. Because there are a few near, within a mile or so. But that's what we don't know. We don't know the exact numbers. So as of right now, the AG says, look, we caught you doing this, and we need to reach some kind of agreement or you might get in trouble. The agreement might be that they simply say, we will keep our price within so many cents of nearby gas stations, which is what most gas stations do, by the way. But it could also be that they get fined if they discover that it turns out that they were doing this with egregious numbers. So we don't know what numbers the AG's special agent saw. That's the one thing we don't know. But as of right now, there is an active investigation against a gas station that is right near the airport, and I believe it's the closest one to the car drop-offs along that rental car row. The owner says his station near DTW is unfairly targeted for price gouging. As Scott Wolchek and Naura Rahal wrote that, and Tom sent it. Thanks a lot. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. I have no methods. All I do is accept people as they are.